Avatar Frontiers of Pandora has gone gold and it is coming out very soon. We've been slowly getting more and more new information about the game from the preview sessions and the marketing as well, so we're going to go through everything that you need to know about Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. Let's go! Let me know in the comments if you're excited for Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. So what is Avatar Frontiers of Pandora? It's a first-person action-adventure game set in the open world of Pandora from James Cameron's Avatar world. Think Ubisoft's Far Cry, probably closer to Far Cry Primal with its own stuff happening in here that's quite unique. It's actually got a lot going for it, but you don't need to have watched the movies as this does take place on the western frontier, like the other side of Pandora. There will be some Easter eggs and references to the movies, but the story here is going to be standalone, so I don't think you have to go and watch 6 hours of movies just in order to enjoy this game. The story will start during the events of the first film, with John Mercer, a RDA member, capturing you and other Na'vi to train as RDA soldiers. The core narrative will actually take place during the events of Way of Water, however, which is after you wake up from cryosleep. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, will be to stop the RDA and learn about the Na'vi and your heritage, as well as meet the 3 clans and learn more about the world and where you come from, as because of your time away from the Na'vi as well as in cryosleep, you've sort of lost that connection to Pandora. So there will be 3 main clans that we'll interact with during the game. The first is the Aranahi clan from the Kingla Forest. These are like peaceful weavers, and it's with this clan that you will learn to tame your Ikran mount that you can then take with you throughout the rest of your journey. The next you'll meet in the upper plains area of the game, which is the Seswa clan, which are sort of the horse people, I guess. They travel with a group of giant, docile and empathetic creatures called the Sakru, whose lifestyle is intimately connected with the clans, and they're a really interesting group that, especially that region they come from, does look very different to the rest. And the last clan is the Kamateri, I'm probably saying that wrong, clan from the Clouded Forest, which is sort of a misty, foresty area, different to the Kingla Forest, but still has a lot of mysterious vibes there, and it also reflective on the clan that's there, as well as they seem to have a bit of a secret that we'll have to obviously uncover. So you'll explore these new regions of Pandora with these unique biomes as you meet their clans, and the Kingla Forest, which we've seen the most of in the trailers, as well as it's the area that I got to explore during my preview session. So if you want to learn more about that, I'll leave a link to that video here. The Kingla Forest is sort of like typical Pandora forest, I guess. Like you've got that really oversaturated look to all of the plants, and it's very dense with all the foliage and everything and the animals that you'll see around it, which is very in contrast to the upper plains to the north, which will be sort of those open views and less dense, and much more those open plains for the dire horse, which you'll be able to get from the Seswa clan here. They'll teach you to be able to ride these, but you'll only be able to keep them for a limited time, unlike your Ikran, which will stay with you throughout the entire playthrough. The last major region is the Clouded Forest, which is where the Kamateri clan come from, who are the healers, and they have their own sort of secrets that you'll uncover here. And I'd love to know more about these guys, and I can't wait to know more, because they seem to be very secretive about this clan and the Clouded Forest. There is also the Floating Mountains making a return from the movie, so you'll be able to explore up there as well. It's actually where you get your Ikran from. Now, the world itself will be filled with activities other than your main and side quests for you to stumble across, like the RDA mining outposts, which will be polluting areas of the map. And once you've taken out those outposts, nature will actually start to return to those areas, and you'll be able to get rewards as well as see more creatures appearing in those areas because of the pollution being taken away. There'll be trapped animals that you'll find from the RDA that you'll be able to release, as well as other activities and collectibles you'll find. Something that's really important for Avatar Frontiers of Pandora and overall the Avatar world as well is that connection to nature and being able to use the materials from animals as well as plants into crafting and cooking. So Avatar Frontiers of Pandora will have a cooking system that you can make food, which will give you various buffs that you can use for combat. Now, the plants that you'll use and the animals have to be harvested a very specific way. So you'll see in some of the footage here from my preview that when you pick up different plants or harvest different creatures, you need to meet certain criteria in order to get a higher quality of that item. The higher quality that item is, it will then be reflective in the amount of buffs you get from, say, cooking with it or using it in the crafting system. So in the same vein, the better quality materials that you harvest as well as use for the crafting system, it will then turn out to make better quality weapons that'll do more damage or have different effects on them, or higher quality armor pieces to defend yourself, because you can actually craft them as well. So there'll be a lot that you'll do inside the world itself, like using your Na'vi sensor, which is sort sort of just like a scanner to be able to scan plants and creatures and see what they're weak to, see what their weak spots are, and how you actually harvest them correctly so that you can get the higher quality materials. When you're exploring the world, you'll do this mostly on your Ikran, which you can name and feed and customize. It's sort of your main mount that you'll fly around. You can also upgrade it with the skill system, which we'll talk about in a little bit as well. But on top of that, you'll have a dire horse that you can use to move along the ground, but you can't keep them forever like you can your Ikran. And as a Na'vi, you can also double jump when you're moving around the world, and you're pretty fast because of the overall size and strength of the Na'vi. But there are also plants that you can interact with, like vines that you can use to climb in the floating mountains, or these plants that you can jump on that I came across during my preview session. So you'll interact with the world in that way, and that sort of movement and the flow as you sort of explore will hopefully lead to a lot of fun scenarios, like trying to find secrets in the world, as you can do those double jumps and tricks to get up higher and sort of explore, especially, you know, the third dimension of being able to fly around on the Ikran as well. While we can't show you too much of it from our preview sessions, there is a skill tree and progression that you will be able to get involved in during the game. So there are multiple skill trees that you'll be able to play around with, from Survivor, which is improving your overall survivability, like your health and energy, to Warrior for your combat prowess, handling of weapons, etc. The Hunter will improve your ability to get materials and carry more ammo and that sort of thing. The Rider is about your Ikran and your dire horse's companions' abilities and being able to like handle them better when mounted, as well as Maker, which is for your crafting and cooking abilities. So we got to see a fair amount of these during our sessions, and there does seem to be plenty of skill choices here from these different 5 trees, but the actual depth and how far they go, we'll have to wait for the full game to see. With both Na'vi and RDA training, you'll be able to use both Na'vi weapons and RDA weapons on the ground and in the skies on your Ikran. You'll use the Na'vi sense in combat as well to highlight armor and weak points on enemies and creatures that you can use to specifically target those areas. For Na'vi weapons, you've got a heavy bow, which is a much slower weapon with a bigger arrow to deal more damage. You've got a long bow, which is probably your more typical, just like basic bow type. And then a short bow, which has a shorter range and a faster fire rate. A spear thrower, as well as the staff sling. Now, the staff sling will allow you to place traps on the ground, which you can then have enemies walk over to trigger the traps, which I found incredibly enjoyable during my session. The RDA weapons are sort of your typical RPGs and assault rifles and shotguns. There's also a stun grenade that you can use as well. On your weapon wheel, you'll not only be able to switch between these weapons, but also craft more arrows and bullets, so you can actually use them in combat and never run out. Very similar to how it works in Horizon, where you craft that sort of stuff from that menu, and also the same as the Na'vi sense and how that works with being able to highlight armor and weak points on machines. Avatar will also be able to play with a friend, so the full story campaign can be played in single player or in co-op. It's drop in, drop out co-op, very similar to like how the co-op works in the Far Cry games. The second player joins the main player's campaign, and you'll keep any of your weapons and skills and things that you get from that world back into your own world. Now, you can do story missions together, and they will carry over to your own world's progression, but you have to be at that same point in the campaign together. You can't have, say, one player be right at the end of the story, another player right at the start. You've got to be on the same missions together to be able to do that progression. So make sure if you are going to play with your friend that you only do the main story missions when you're both actually playing together, to both get that progression and be able to actually do them as well. So the game will be releasing on December 7th on PS5, Xbox Series S and X, and PC. PS5 players will get the typical PS5 bells and whistles, like the adaptive triggers and the haptic feedback and the likes, while PC players will get the additional graphical fidelity like ray trace reflections and shadows, ultra wide resolution, high refresh rate. And Avatar is an AMD sponsored title, but it will feature DLSS and the NVIDIA tools along with AMD FSR, which was mentioned during some of those PC features trailers. Unfortunately for the Xbox fans, it doesn't seem like you guys get anything special, so I'm sorry about that, but that's unfortunate. But, you know, if you are getting on Xbox, hopefully one day, you know, they will actually come out with those haptic feedback and adaptive triggers controllers. Hopefully they actually do with like the next Elite branch or whatever. Now, if you pre-order as well, you get access to the Child of Two Worlds pack, and PS5 players get access to the Aranahi Warrior pack for free, which assumedly will be on the microtransaction store if you don't purchase the game on PS5, which is, I guess, something to point out as well, that there'll be that sort of cosmetic store that you may have come to expect with these Ubisoft single player games, as they've done in the past with their previous titles. What we get at launch isn't all that's going to be in the game, however. There will be a season pass with 2 major DLCs adding to the game, as well as a free mission. So the first of these major DLCs is Skybreaker, which is coming in summer 2024, where where alongside one of the clans, you'll explore some new areas and there'll be a clan festival that'll be interrupted by a great cloud in the sky, which is seemingly a RDA ship of some kind that's coming to do some nefarious things. The second DLC will be in fall 2024, which is the Secrets of the Spires, which will introduce a completely new region of the frontier where the RDA is mining the region and you'll need to stop them and find out what secrets that region actually holds. Now, if you own the season pass at launch, you'll instantly get access to a mission called Familiar Echoes, which is seemingly about hacking RDA relays to get some sort of information. Where exactly that leads, we don't know, but you will get access to that just by owning the season pass from day one. So with a large open world, these 3 clans, plus everything that's in the game at launch and the stuff coming next year, there's plenty to explore in Avatar. I can't wait to get my hands on the full game and actually check out this amazing world, as I actually really like the Avatar movie, so I'm really keen to jump in and actually play around in an Avatar world. There's going to be plenty to enjoy here, but let me know what your thoughts are on the game. Are you excited, not excited? What console are you going to be picking it up on? I'll also have plenty of content coming for Avatar Frontiers of Pandora at launch as well, so make sure you do those YouTube things, like, subscribe, etc. And let me know if there's anything specific you would like to see in the comments, whether that be at launch or before launch. If you want to know more about the game, I'll be happy to cover that for you guys. So thank you guys for watching this video till the end. Thank you to our members for supporting the channel. My name is NorZZa, and I hope you have a great day.